Alright guys, this is inaccurate. So I was watching PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye do this video about, their favorite video games of all time pretty much, and I thought, I could do that. I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon. So here are my favorite games of all time.
Bruh.
And I put some timestamps in the description just in case you guys wanna just in case you guys wanna skip ahead or something. But yeah, let's get started. So this first one, Starcraft 1, is probably the longest game I've ever played in my life. I have spent probably 15 years of my life playing this game. I got it when I was like 7 or 8. And my stepbrother, he just kind of like introduced me to his, like, he's got this new game. He's just like excited to show people and he let me play. It was a pretty good time. And back then, StarCraft 1 was hugely popular. I think I played it like maybe around like 1999 or the year 2000. It was this like cool, bloody game, with three different types of races. You got the Zerg, which are the mutants, the Protoss, which are the aliens, and then you got the Terran, which is the best.
Oh, another computer. Says hit any key. Well, which one's the any key?
Pretty much just the humans, but like just lining up siege tanks and battle cruisers where it's just the most fun thing. You would just see shit blow up right in front of you. And it was this really kind of like game-changing video game for me because it was really complex. Like at the time when I picked it up, I was like 8 years old and there were so many buttons on a keyboard. You got your left click, which selects groups of units, which also, clicks on buildings, and you got your right click, which moves units, and then you got your hotkeys, which are, control 1 through 0. You gotta learn each unit's like special ability. You gotta learn build trees. You gotta learn what specific strategies are best. You gotta be fast because it's a RTS game. I think I described it to myself as like it's like you're an operating system. You're trying to do many tasks at once. You're trying to make them as efficient as possible while also, like StarCraft's one story also kind of stuck out to me. When I was 8, I didn't understand the story at all, but I still really liked the story because like it's kind of stupid humor, with like the Terran Marines.
I ain't telling you nothing. Wait, I'll tell you. It's, Farnham.
Access code accepted.
Thanks. Oops.
Or like Artanis when you click them enough.
This is not Warcraft in space.
It was also the place where I kind of like found a bunch of like online friends and like an online group to kind of just chill out with, just talk about just random stuff. Like we didn't even really have to play video games, like in the use map settings portion, it was, just all these different games that different types of creators made. They made Dota, they made random Pokemon games. I remember playing a Final Fantasy VII remake just purely in StarCraft 1. Oh, it's one of the games I really miss playing. So the second one, Pokemon Blue, like I gotta admit, when I saw this in PewDiePie's and Jacksepticeye's list, I was like, hell yeah, that definitely belongs there. Like I love Pokemon Blue. Like I had Pokemon Blue, and then like my sister, I think she had like Pokemon Red. Pokemon was like that childhood game where it was just so fun to collect all these like little creatures that could kind of like fight for you, and then you just kind of made your way through the story, and then you're eventually fighting Giovanni. You eventually reach Elite Four, and then you like bam, oh shit, you're fighting Gary. I had the original Game Boy, I had the Game Boy Color, I had a bunch of Game Boy Advances, and it was something I kind of like shared with like my sister and my stepbrother, because we would do things like we would trade Pokemon, we would battle against each other. It was just something that kind of like stuck around. And even when I like talked to like other people in like my elementary school, they, everyone was just like, yeah, I got this team of Pokemon. It was so cool. I also got these Pokemon cards. It was just, Pokemon Blue all the way. Like, I still remember this one time, like, I think I was traveling around Victory Road, And then I poked my head out and I saw Moltres just like sitting next to the rock. I was just thinking to myself, like, what the hell is that thing? I kind of want to talk to it, but like there's this wall of boulders in my way. And then when I eventually fought it, and then it just like ran away and never came back, I was just like, shit. I mean, later I eventually caught it, and I just found out like I could just blast through the Elite Four. That was so cool. So next is Dark Souls 3. I was actually kind of debating whether or not to put like Sekiro here, because Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro I think are pretty even for me. However, Dark Souls 3 this is the game I like switched over after playing Overwatch for a long time. The Dark Souls 3 was that like fast-paced single-player game that I kind of wanted. Like as I played it more and more, I found out it was just like this dark world with like a bunch of build variety. Even though most of the other builds kind of suck, the bosses were just so fun to like fight against. And they were just like so big and like over the top, and like, some of them just had some crazy moves on them. I still remember that like Midir is probably like the funnest dragon fight in a video game that I've ever had. It was because it's just like the sheer size of him and like the amount of attacks. I mean, like, yeah, he has a lot of shit boxes, but I think the way you're supposed to fight against him is like, head on. You're not supposed to like go underneath him. You're not supposed to use stuff like Pestilence Mist, but that's just like a personal opinion. And like when you finally get that riposte on him and he just kind of like falls backwards too, that's so cool. Yeah, I think the reason why I didn't put Sekiro on there because it was this one track mind of just getting better and better at a single type of combat system, which is completely fine by me. I love that. But I would say Dark Souls 3 had a bigger impact on me since it was my first FromSoft game. This next one, Super Mario World. This was just a great game. There was just so many levels that I could play throughout it. And I love just like the basic system of just movement and jumping and just running. And then, there was also flying and, fireballs and all that. But, whatever. And this place, I remember when I was like on my Super Nintendo, I had the fucking guidebook to kind of go through everything and, get me to like Star Road, get me through this whole freaking world. It was really fun. I remember, if you ever played Super Mario World, at the very end of Bowser's Castle, there's this like side castle thing, right? You're supposed to go into the side castle, and then, I was thinking it's going to be like this different place from Bowser's Castle. It wasn't. Apparently, it was just like a skip ahead. It skipped like 50% of Bowser's Castle. And I remember I spent like days trying to figure out how to get into that side castle because like I didn't have the internet. Also, the fucking guidebook didn't mention it either, so it was nuts. But Super Mario World was a big game changer. I blew so much time on that. I was also kind of thinking about putting Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario Brothers 3 or 2, But Super Mario World, I think I spent more time on, and it was just funner. Overwatch. I bought this as a graduation gift to myself because Blizzard was kind of hyping up Overwatch to be this crazy new game. I was just like, I've been playing Starcraft 1 for a very long time. It's probably best to just kind of move on. And Overwatch was that kind of like that second large portion of my life that I kind of blew 3 to 4 years on. And Overwatch was it blew up so much. Like at the beginning, everybody was going crazy over it. Like you would see like all these freaking Genji Dragonblade montages on YouTube. It was just all over it. And I blew so much time on just getting better at the game, just doing stupid stuff like being a really good Torbjorn main and just trolling people. Like I knew like people would go up to my turret and try to kill it. So then I would just ult right in their face, and then it would just turn into a level 3 turret, and it would just kill them instantly, and then it would just murder the rest of their team. run around as Torbjorn and do hammer only challenges. It was so fun. Overwatch just kind of like took over my life. I love just seeing like this big culture boom that kind of went with it as well. So this next game, Maplestory, I'm pretty sure you guys have probably heard about it, but maybe not have played it. This was a very, very big weeb MMO back in like 2006. So back then there wasn't a lot of weeb MMOs, everything was either like World of Warcraft or, EverQuest, or it was more like a Western MMO. MapleStory was just that weeb MMO that if you liked anime, you probably played it. This was another game that I think my stepbrother actually got me into. He said to just kind of like join him. I was just like, yeah, whatever. And then got into it, and then you got put on the starter island where you're going around killing mushrooms. And for some reason, it was really, really addicting, just like grinding out and then seeing this explosive, like level up symbol, just seeing your EXP bar, progress and progress. It was just this place that I kind of shared with a bunch of strangers, And then I remember so like they had these raids that we called party quests. So like the first one you'll ever do was the King Slime party quest. This one was, you would get in a group of 4 and then you would tackle through the dungeon and then you eventually reach the King Slime, which you would have to kind of like burn down. I remember that was just really cool because I've never done that before. Before playing MapleStory, which was, practically my first MMO. Yeah, like I play stuff like, Starcraft and Super Mario World and like Pokemon. Like those things didn't have like the MMO aspects or like the whole dungeon aspects. Like I also remember some of the bad stuff. Like if you guys know, there was this thing called the drop game where you and this other person would drop items. So you would drop the first item, he would drop an item more expensive than your item, and then it would kind of go back and forth until someone loses. But the thing is, usually they have some kind of trick, like someone would be hiding underneath you so that they could just like suck up all your items. So basically, it was this like dirty scam tactic that sucked in all your items, because under the guise of you're trying to beat this guy in a competition, and if you do beat him, you'll get this awesome weapon, And yeah, I am kind of ashamed I did fall for it too. It fucking sucked. But it wasn't even really expensive stuff that I dropped, so whatever. Megaman Battle Network. This one I kind of debated on putting into my list because there were other games I was thinking about too, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I played zombies a lot. Halo 3, I played it with my friends, just kind of doing stupid stuff in Blood Gulch all the time. And what kind of made me pick Mega Man Battle Network was I remember getting the third one on the Game Boy Advance, and I couldn't get through like the first boss. It was the hardest thing. I just kind of threw down my Game Boy Advance, and I was just like, I'm not playing this ever again. It wasn't until like a couple years later, like I started getting into like emulator games. Mega Man Battle Network was on there. And I've played Mega Man X before. That game was fucking hard. And Mega Man Battle Network, it was kind of like StarCraft in a way that it was like this chessboard, but you moved in real time. And you also had this collection of like chips, which you could think about like Pokemon. You have this collection of Pokemon to fight for you. So you had these collection of chips that would do specific damage or specific power-ups. And you can like arm your guy with it. And it was kind of like this funny world as well. The whole world was ruled by like an absurd amount of technology and technology connecting to the internet. But then you also had these like Tamagotchi devices that would connect to the internet and like fight for you, like killing viruses on the internet, or else, it would destroy the real world. Ooh. Once like everything kind of clicked, it was just like my type of game. It was like fast paced. You had to think a lot about your composition of chips, or else you might just get run down by like a stronger virus. I played through all of them, and the Battle Network one where you pretty much face Dr. Wily. That one was probably the best out of all of them. Overall, I remember myself having a really good time playing them, even though 4 and 5 just kind of fell off, but it was still a really good time playing them. Metal Gear Solid 2. I also debated on like which Metal Gear Solid games I would put on here, or even putting Metal Gear Solid like in this. But in terms of Metal Gear Solid, like the franchise is just really good. It's like over the top. It's kind of like anime-ish. It's stupid. It's funny. And I just kind of I picked Metal Gear Solid 2 because it was the first Metal Gear Solid game that I played. Like at the time, I was playing this with my friend because like we were both bored and we decided like, yeah, okay, so why don't we just like pick a random video game and then we'll just pass control it back and forth. It's like, okay. And then we settled on Metal Gear Solid 2. This game was like really different from what I've played, It was very cinematic. When we were going through it, the story made absolutely no fucking sense. It was over our heads, and it was fun riding around as like naked Raiden, just going through the level. The cartwheels, man. The cartwheels. Metal Gear Solid 2 was just a really good time, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This last one, Eudemons Online. So this was practically my second MMO after Maplestory. This MMO, which I'm pretty sure none of you have ever heard of, was this really, really, like, thinking back on it, it was this really garbage MMO. Well, first of all, it was pay to win. Second of all, the combat system was just janky. Like, if you hit someone with a certain skill called, like, chain chop, it would lock you and the person you were attacking in animation for about 10 seconds, and you can overlap the skill repeatedly until you lost all your mana. You could do it 10 times repeatedly, and then you could use a random scroll, and then you could just randomly teleport to a different part of the map. It was like this super cheesy move, and I remember it was the first video game where I actually felt like I had like a really solid guild. And with Maplestory, I did come back to it probably like 3 years ago, and like I didn't have a guild back then. But Eudemons was like, I remember playing it when I was like 15 or 16, something like that, and I blew like 3 years on it. So me and my sister pretty much just got invited to this guild, and it was called the Illuminati. Yeah, I know. They were super friendly, and then we eventually got to know each other better. And it was just overall just like a very wholesome, heartwarming kind of event. We spent more and more time with each other, and it was just so fun. We got to know each other. We got to do stuff together. We hunted together, and but eventually as time goes on, people have like different priorities. They get a job, they go to college, they get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and they just kind of stop playing. Or they just get bored and move on to another game. And this game felt like a complete lifespan for me. In the beginning, there was so many people. I had this great kind of like family guild aspect to it. Met a lot of great people. And then, it just kind of stagnated. Everybody went their separate ways and left. And then by the end of it, it was just only me that was playing it, and then I eventually quit. I guess you would say like I had this like super emotional attachment to it, like about the same as StarCraft 1. Like the people I met on StarCraft 1 was like people I've known for like 15 years, but like the people I knew on Eudemons Online, I felt much closer to, and it was overall just a really fun experience, even though the game was complete shit. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I've droned on for a very long time, and these types of videos, they're really fun to make. Like, just kind of like expressing things about myself and just telling about the different experiences I had. But I know, like, for the viewer, it might be boring or it might be like dragged out. And I am trying to make it like more entertaining, trying to make like maybe like more editing. Oh shit! Almost like I almost knocked over my water bottle. Anyways, thanks for listening. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about my favorite game list, or if you guys have your favorite game list to share, I would love to kind of see it, because I think it's very interesting. See what video games people agree with, and then see what video games that are just completely different and completely out of the way and like I've never heard of. That's pretty much it. I'm out. Bye.